In the worlds before Monkey, primal chaos reigned. Heaven sought order, but the phoenix can fly only when its feathers are grown. The four worlds formed again and yet again, as endless eons wheeled and passed. Time and the pure essences of heaven, the moisture of the earth, the powers of the sun and the moon, all worked upon a certain rock, old as creation. And it became magically fertile. That first egg was named Thought. Tathagata Buddha, the father Buddha, said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." Elemental forces caused the egg to hatch. From it then came a stone monkey. The nature of monkey was irrepressible.
Bones on an egg on a mountain top. The funkiest monkey that ever popped. He knew every magic trick under the sun. To tease the gods and everyone and have some fun. Monkey magic, 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 monkey magic.
I'm reviewing Monkey Prince issue 8, and first, do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough they are, to which I give the first cover on the left hand side a 7.5 out of 10, and for the second cover on the right hand side an 8 out of 10. To which I'll be using the variant to actually show the internal art, which we'll be moving into next. So we'll have a look at some of the art around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. And as we start to move into beginning, we've got some things happening here with Fakari, members of the Trench, and of course Marcus, our Monkey Prince, along with Shifu, Pigsy, and what's happening in there. I'll now jump towards the middle of the story. And as we start to jump towards the middle of the story, we have Marcus talking to the big bad, or the big dragon in this. And the dragon explains that Aquaman has actually been pretty good to him whilst he's been around. So, and of course, they're still dealing with members of the Trench. And moving into last but not least towards the end of the story, and as we can see here, we've got the return of Silverhorn, or the Silverhorn King, to which this takes place in a distant galaxy in the DC universe, and also some of the things that he plans to do. He catches up with Pigsy, and of course we learn that we're about to head to Metropolis. So, for the internal art, I give it an 8 out of 10. Really enjoying this story. Now it's time to move into the story rating itself. First things first, do we get any comic references to any of the previous issues that are connected to the series? No, we don't. The next area is the area of time, to which the closest we get to time being addressed is now. The last couple of things are being location, to which a lot of this takes place in Atlantis, and of course Dragontown in Atlantis, and of course the Flame Planet, to which we see the Silverhorn King. Cast of characters consisting of Monkey Prince, who is Marcus, Pigsy, Aquaman, and last We also got to encounter the Trench King as well as the Silver Horn King. Overall story rating for this is an 8 out of 10. And let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day. Issue 9, which is by Jean Yang and Bernard Chang on the arc, and well, whoever the last artist is on it. Sorry if I can't pronounce their name very well. I think it's Milo. But let's jump into the first things first, and that is in regards to the covers. Do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? The first one sort of does, so does the second, but not so much the third. But I still enjoy the cover anyway. So for the main cover, I gave an 8 out of 10. For the second cover, which is the one with Monkey Prince with Supergirl, an 8 out of 10. And last but not least, for this top cover, a 7.5 out of 10. I'll now get things prepared so we can start to review the internal art and also some of the things that are happening story-wise. So we'll jump into the beginning of the story. And as we start to jump into the beginning of the story, we have something that actually connects us to what's happening on the Batman versus Robin run. And we end up meeting up with King Fireball, who is actually meant to be the son of Nezza. And his part in the story. And of course, we have Marcus's parents sort of getting involved in that situation too. I'll now start to move towards the middle of the story. Sorry if this is taking a little bit longer. I don't have my best equipment with me at the moment. Some Starro infected have done something with it. All right, moving into the next bit, we jump into the middle of the story, and of course we have Marcus with his old man. His mum's in the back, and something seems a little bit serious right now, and he gets to catch up with one of his relatives who happens to live in Metropolis, which I really quite enjoyed. So we're starting to see this character's world open up quite a bit. Last but not least, we jump towards the end of the story, and of course he ends up meeting up with Supergirl and a couple of others in Metropolis. And I must admit, I really did enjoy that. So for the internal art, I gave it an 8 out of 10. So I've really come to enjoy this story. And I'm really looking forward to when we start to reach the end. So the next thing is the story thing. So first things first, since this story has been going on for about 9 issues now, did we get any comic references? Sure enough, we didn't, but that's all right. Let's move on to the next thing. What about the area of time? We had time addressed as the next morning, and that took place after some certain events. The next thing was locations, and we had the LexCorp campus in Metropolis, and we also had Big Belly Burgers, which the characters dropped by. Of course, we move into the cast of characters, being, providing I've written this correctly, Stanley, Laura, King Fireball, there was Monkey Prince, Marcus, Pigsy, Jinx, who also appeared in this, The Grand Silver Trident, I think it is, Supergirl, Kaya, which is Marcus's present good friend, girlfriend of sorts, and Ultra Humanite made an appearance. For the overall story rating for this particular issue, 8 out of 10. This is really an underrated series. I advise you go out there and pick it up, even if you can try to get a hold of the first issue. If you haven't read the series, it feels like you could probably pick it up anywhere and enjoy the story as it goes along. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day. This DC review, I'm covering Monkey Prince, issue 10 by Jin Yang. And starting off with first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story? Sure enough, it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. My only thing that I sort of am unable to do right now is get a hold of some of the variants in connection to these Monkey Prince issues, which hopefully I should be able to get a hold of them later on. So moving into the internal art, we get to see the Monkey Prince, Marcus, making acquaintance once again with Supergirl and taking out Ultra Humanite. Of course, catching up with his grandfather and also parents. As the story continues in this, it still connects to the Lazarus Planet story, which is presently happening, or basically beginning. And we get to see some of the things that are happening over at Metropolis. Marcus, the Monkey Prince, offers his help. And as things continue, they manage to go over to the Hall of Justice. And they get a call from, well, whoever's been called to help with what's happening with the Lazarus Planet storyline. So for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story. So first things first, did we get any comic references connected to this story? No, but about the only comic references was to at the end of the story, which it makes reference to, of course, the next issue, and of course Lazarus Planet issue 1. Moving into the area of time to which we got was now, so basically addressing the present. We had in the location, we had a wooded area in Metropolis. We also got to see downtown Metropolis and the Hall of Justice in the locations. In the cast of characters, we got to see Supergirl, Monkey Prince, his grandpa Gerard. We also had Kaya, which returned. Cyborg, Power Girl, Zatanna, Blue Devil, Mary Marvel, which was really nice to see, and Blue Beetle. And that's connected to what's happening with what Damien's doing right now. For the overall story rating in this, I give a 7.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day. Comic review, I'll be covering Monkey Prince, issue 11, and starting off with first things cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside with the story. Sure enough, it does, to which I give it an 8 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art, as well as some of the things that are happening in the story-wise. So as the story begins, we have the Ultra Humanite, is basically Marcus's, who we learn is like adopted grandfather in the story, as well as his adoptive parents. And they're trying to get the Monkey King to sort of like to be on their side. And as this the story continues, we have Marcus coming through to somewhat intervene, and he goes in to see the Monkey King. And as we start to catch up with the Monkey King, he gets his butt handed back to him. Or not the Monkey King, but the Monkey Prince gets his butt handed back to him in their somewhat conversation, talk, whatever. As the story continues, also learns a secret as to why his father, the Monkey King, is actually in the Phantom Zone. Of course, we get a bit of a flashback, and we learn that it's actually in Metropolis, to which Marcus was sort of like sent from the Monkey King into the world of, or into this DC world. Of course, later on, he has to make a bit of a sacrifice. He also learns his place in this particular situation. He knows if he were to leave the Phantom Zone that he's in, that it might actually cause a bit of destruction and not what he wants right now. So now isn't the time for the Monkey King to be, or to free himself from the Phantom Zone. And of course, Humanite intervenes, and now we have a Monkey Prince under mind control. So moving into the internal art for this particular series, I give it an 8 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story. Did we get any comic book references? Yes, we did. And we got a comic book reference to Lazarus Planet. Alpha issue 1, which was really good because it showed how the Lazarus Reign is also playing a part. Next is the area of time, to which we had now and also later used, but we also had 15 years ago used in relation to learning more about Marcus and also the parents who adopted him. The locations that we saw in this, or the next area being location, were Metropolis and the Phantom Zone. And last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of Ultra Humanite, the Monkey King, Winston, I believe that's Lois, Marcus's adopted father or adopted dad, and of course the Monkey Prince himself, Marcus. For the overall rating, I gave this an 8 out of 10. Definitely pick this up. You are missing out on something good here. I highly recommend this Yin Yang series. For the overall story rating, I give it an 8 out of 10. Until then, let's keep